Well, I had the opportunity to see Dwayne Johnson's The Smashing Machine yesterday, and after I saw it, will you smell what The Rock is cooking? Or is it just another line of movie jabronis? Up next at Mark at the Movies. Well, I had the opportunity yesterday to see The Smashing Machine, and I've heard a lot about this film coming out of festivals and down the line that this is Dwayne Johnson's big, serious acting debut, that it got a 15-minute standing ovation, but not a lot else about the film, which always worries me. Well, what is this? The Smashing Machine is written and directed by Benny Safdie, who also did Uncut Gems. A lot of similarities there with Adam Sandler being the funny man turned serious actor with some Oscar buzz that turned into no Oscar nominations for the film or for Adam Sandler. This one seems to be in a similar situation. Dwayne the Rock Johnson plays MMA fighter Mark Kerr, who kind of reaches the pinnacle. It's in the early days of UFC or MMA fighting when they did Pride Championships in Japan, and he was one of the pioneers of the sport, but had huge issues with substance abuse. And this is a tale of this UFC or Pride fighter who has girlfriend issues, substance abuse issues, and what that looks like. Well, these are my thoughts on the film. This is a a film that could have been a lot better, and it does what Dwayne Johnson does all the time. It doesn't commit fully to what it was trying to do. Dwayne Johnson does a very good job. You know, you have this prosthetics that he has on, the nose, the cauliflower ear, a bunch of makeup on his face, which really helps the viewer to disconnect with, okay, I'm not seeing The Rock, I'm seeing a different person. And he tones down the personality. But is that enough to give him credit for an Oscar nomination or the best performance of his career? Maybe it's the best performance of his career, but I'll tell you, up against a true pro like Emily Blunt, who is excellent with what she's given with the script in this movie. I really loved her kind of American trashy accent in this, and all the different outfits and costumes that she chose. I mean, this is a really elegant woman in real life. This is an acting performance, and Dwayne Johnson really kind of pales in comparison to a true thespian, if you will. So, anyways, it's about Mark Kerr in his early days. It's film documentary style. Hey man, I'll give the film credit. The documentary style of how it's filmed and the angles and the lens, the lens, the grain of the lens is really well done. It feels like it's a documentary. I loved that piece of it, but really this is a piece that doesn't know what to commit to. It establishes that both Kerr and Blunt's girlfriend character have serious issues, with Kerr having major substance abuse issues with painkillers, and both of them being codependent. It doesn't go deep enough in that area where when Dwayne Johnson's character has an overdose, I think you don't see it. All you see is cut to Emily Blunt's character calling on the phone. Oh no, he's fallen. I can't wake him up. You never see it. You never see any of that stuff. You only see him in the hospital later. You never really see him recovering. So a lot of the acting exercises that could have been really good in the film are completely eliminated. And then the UFC stuff, the Pride Championship stuff, never really goes very far. And for Dwayne Johnson to have a stretch of being a performer in the ring with a training segment, not really much of a stretch. Hey, look, in the film, these are deeply flawed characters. There is one scene in the film towards the end in the third act that's really well done. Mostly Emily Blunt carrying the acting in the film. And I wonder. It makes me wonder if the prosthetics and Dwayne Johnson just being a little more gentle is really where the performance lies. Uh, Ultimately, this movie doesn't go deep enough. It was a good watch. It was a nice 2 hour watch. But what I did notice is the other UFC fighter in this film. There's a guy in this who ends up being really the third major character in the film. You don't see him a lot in the first and part of the quarter of the act, but Ryan Bader, who plays Mark Coleman, who's actually the successful UFC Pride fighter in this film, he's not an actor. He's a former UFC guy that comes in and does a solid job. There is an interaction with him and The Rock at the end, and I'm like, ooh, that's really tough acting on both of their parts. But he's pretty good in this as well. So, really, this film doesn't know what it wants to be. If it wanted to be a substance abuse and relationship issue film, it should have gone deeper. If it wanted to be a Pride and UFC training film, it should have gone deeper. If they wanted to get into the minutia of what the Pride Championships was turning into, as far as how big the UFC was going to be, it didn't go deep enough. A film that has some entertaining pieces to it. Emily Blunt is always fantastic in it. I thought Ryan Bader was very good in this, but ultimately, if you're gonna bill this as Dwayne The Rock Johnson actually has decided to act in a movie, it's gonna be a failure on my end. It doesn't quite take the cake. This movie won't be recognized at the Oscars anywhere. It's a subpar film with a couple good performances, one overhyped performance, and a movie that ultimately doesn't go very far. I'll give this film 3 stars. Entertaining enough for 2 hours, and I really loved the documentary style of it. The direction was pretty good. Script couldn't decide what it wanted to be. So, 3 star film. Well, what about you? You like Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Do you like some of his more entertaining action films? Are you going to see The Smashing Machine? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the comments. Like and subscribe to this video. Let's have a conversation about movies at Mark at the Movies.